What if I told you that one of the longest-running conflicts in modern history is still far from resolution? Yes, we're talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. This decades-old dispute, a seemingly unresolvable puzzle, continues to perplex, polarize, and provoke heated debates across the globe. The narrative is anything but simple, with its roots deeply entrenched in historical, political, and religious contexts. Yet despite its complexity and duration, it remains a focal point of global attention. Media outlets, scholars, politicians, and civilians alike are drawn to it, each grappling with its multifaceted nature and the implications of its various developments. These developments aren't confined to the geographical boundaries of Israel and Palestine. They reverberate across continents, influencing opinions, inciting controversies, and even impacting international relations. Today, we dive into the latest developments of this conflict, tracing its recent timeline. Our journey starts at the University of Pennsylvania, where a billionaire donor sparked a controversy. The billionaire in question is Ronald Lauder, an heir to the Estee Lauder fortune. He wrote a letter to the president of the university, threatening to stop his donations unless the school took a stronger stance against anti-Semitism. This was not a random act of philanthropic petulance. Lauder's letter was a response to the university's handling of the Palestine Rights Literary Festival, an event accused by some of providing a platform to speakers with histories of anti-Semitism. Despite the criticism, Penn's leadership released a statement condemning anti-Semitism, but also supporting the free exchange of ideas. This did not sit well with Lauder. He expressed disappointment that the festival was not cancelled and that his concerns were not understood. The fallout was significant. Other donors, including Apollo Global Management CEO Mark Rowan and the Huntsman family, joined Lauder in expressing their dissatisfaction and halted their donations. Lauder went a step further, requesting that students at the Lauder Institute not be taught by instructors involved in or supportive of the festival. But why does this matter in the context of the Israel-Palestine conflict? Well, the controversy at Penn is a microcosm of the larger issue. It demonstrates how the conflict, while geographically centered in the Middle East, resonates globally. It shows how the issue of anti-Semitism, intertwined with the Israel-Palestine conflict, can stir emotions and spark debates in institutions thousands of miles away from the conflict zone. This incident also highlights the challenging balance between combating anti-Semitism and preserving the freedom of speech, a dilemma faced by many institutions worldwide. It underscores how the Israel-Palestine conflict, far from being a distant geopolitical issue, can affect the policies and politics of universities and other institutions around the world. This incident at Penn underlines the global reach and impact of the Israel-Palestine conflict, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's shift our focus to Harvard, another Ivy League institution, where the conflict has also made its mark. The echoes of the Israel-Palestine dispute have resounded through the hallowed halls of this prestigious university, creating a ripple effect of reactions. A joint statement was issued, laying blame on the Israeli government for the ongoing violence. This bold move was not without its consequences. The repercussions were immediate and significant, reflecting the intensity and complexity of the conflict that stretches thousands of miles away. The fallout included the resignation of board members, a drastic step that underscores the seriousness of the situation. Further, the university experienced a severing of ties, an action demonstrating the profound impact this issue has on relationships, alliances, and affiliations. This event at Harvard is not an isolated incident, but rather a reflection of the wider global discourse on the Israel-Palestine conflict. It brings to light the far-reaching implications of this dispute, extending beyond the political and geographical confines of the Middle East. The conversation around this conflict is not just about diplomacy or territory. It's about ideologies, values, and the very essence of what we believe in. It's about how we navigate the delicate balance between supporting the free exchange of ideas and standing firm against perceived injustices. These debates and discussions are taking place in classrooms, boardrooms, and political chambers across the globe. They are shaping our collective consciousness and influencing the choices we make as individuals, communities, and nations. This incident at Harvard serves as a stark reminder of how this conflict has permeated the fabric of our society, prompting us to reevaluate our standpoints, question our biases, and strive for a fair and just resolution. These incidents at Harvard and Penn are a testament to the fact that the Israel-Palestine conflict continues to reverberate far beyond its geographical borders. These academic institutions are but microcosms of a larger global conversation. The Israel-Palestine conflict, a conundrum that has persisted for more than half a century, has permeated every corner of our world, from international politics and academia to business. The ripples of the conflict are seen far beyond the borders of the Middle East, affecting decision-making processes and shaping viewpoints on a global scale. Take, for instance, the political sphere. Governments worldwide grapple with the challenge of balancing their stance on this issue. It's a delicate diplomatic dance, as they strive to maintain relationships with both Israel and Palestine, while also attempting to reflect their own nation's values and beliefs. The impact is felt in the United Nations, in international treaties, and in the foreign policies of nations across the globe. The business world, too, is not immune to the influence of the conflict. Companies and corporations, large and small, are constantly faced with the decision of whether to invest in, operate in, or withdraw from either Israel or Palestine. Such decisions are not just about economics, but also about corporate ethics and public image. The conflict can influence market trends, investment decisions, and even the bottom line of multinational corporations. And then there's the world of academia, as we've seen with recent events at the University of Pennsylvania and Harvard. These institutions serve as hotbeds for intellectual discourse and debate, places where the next generation of leaders are formed. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a topic of study, of research, of heated debates in classrooms and lecture halls. It influences curricula, invites controversy, and even impacts the flow of funding, as we've seen with the stance taken by philanthropist Ronald Lauder. The conflict also shapes the cultural and social landscapes. It sparks protests, influences art and literature, and even permeates the world of sports. It's a topic of discussion at dinner tables, a subject of documentaries and films, a theme in novels and plays. In essence, the Israel-Palestine conflict has become a global phenomenon, a topic that transcends geographical boundaries, influencing and being influenced by a multitude of factors. It's a narrative that is constantly evolving, shaped by the actions and reactions of individuals, institutions, and nations worldwide. These global reverberations of the conflict remind us of its far-reaching implications. The Israel-Palestine conflict is not just a dispute over land or religion, but a complex, multifaceted issue that continues to impact our world in myriad ways. So, where do we stand now in the Israel-Palestine conflict, and what might the future hold? As we find ourselves on the cusp of a new year, the Israel-Palestine conflict, much like an unresolved puzzle, continues to cast a shadow on the global stage. This enduring dispute, steeped in decades of political, religious, and social complexities, remains a defining issue of our time. The current status of the conflict is one of persistent struggle, marked by sporadic flare-ups of violence and a seemingly endless cycle of retaliation. Both sides remain steadfast in their claims, fueled by a potent cocktail of historical grievances, territorial disputes, and divergent narratives. Amidst the echoes of warfare, however, there are also whispers of peace, albeit faint ones. Efforts towards a resolution have been many and varied, from bilateral negotiations to international peace initiatives. Yet the road to peace is fraught with obstacles, not least of which are the deep-seated mistrust and the divisive politics that permeate both sides of the divide. In the face of these challenges, the call for compromise and dialogue continues to be echoed by many. There are those who advocate for a two-state solution, envisioning an independent Palestine coexisting peacefully alongside Israel. Others propose a one-state solution where all inhabitants of the region would live under a single democratic government, irrespective of their ethnic or religious identities. Yet the viability of these solutions is frequently called into question, as both entail significant concessions and a radical shift in the status quo. The path to peace, then, is not a straightforward one. It is a labyrinthine journey marked by twists and turns, dead ends and detours. In the wider global community, the repercussions of the conflict reverberate far and wide, influencing diplomatic relations, shaping public opinion, and even impacting educational institutions, as we've seen at the University of Pennsylvania and Harvard. While the future of the Israel-Palestine conflict remains uncertain, what's clear is that its impact continues to be felt around the world. As we move forward, it is essential that we continue to engage in informed, respectful discourse on this complex issue, maintaining a steadfast commitment to peace and justice even in the face of adversity. As we wind up, it's important to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The Israel-Palestine conflict, a long-standing issue of global concern, continues to ripple through various aspects of our society, even influencing the academic sphere, as we've seen at the University of Pennsylvania and Harvard. Recent events highlight the sensitivity and complexity of the issue. Wealthy donors like Ronald Lauder are leveraging their influence to shape the narrative and discourse at academic institutions. It's a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play and the influence of personal ideology on institutional policies. Furthermore, the conflict's ramifications aren't confined within the borders of Israel and Palestine. They reverberate globally, affecting diplomatic relationships, sparking debates on free speech and anti-Semitism, and even influencing financial flows to academic institutions. In the grand scheme of things, the Israel-Palestine conflict is a puzzle that the world is still trying to piece together. And as we've seen, even the smallest pieces can have a significant impact.